שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסחו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל שירו לאדוני.
die. I get diggy, diggy, die. Let's try it again. I get daggy, daggy, die. I get diggy, 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 die. I get daggy, daggy, die. I get diggy, diggy, die. I get diggy, die. I get diggy, die. I get diggy, 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 die. I get diggy, die. I get diggy, die. I get diggy, 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 die. I get daggy, die. I get diggy, 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 die. I get daggy, daggy, die. I get diggy, diggy, die. I get diggy, die. I get diggy, die. I get diggy, 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 die. I get diggy, die. I get diggy, die. I get diggy, 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 die. I get daggy, daggy, die. I get diggy, 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 die. I get daggy, daggy, die. I get diggy, diggy, die. Tonight begins the holiday of Tu B'Av, and you're thinking, another Jewish holiday? Tu B'Av, which means 15th of the month of Av, it's both an ancient and a modern holiday. Originally, in post-biblical times, it was a day of joy that served as a matchmaking day for unmarried women. It went almost unnoticed for centuries and was rejuvenated in recent decades, especially in modern Israel. In its modern incarnation, it has become a holiday of love resembling Valentine's Day. In celebration of this modern Jewish day of love, tonight I will share just a few selections through the service from our vast repertoire of Jewish love music.
Before we begin our service on page 3, as Beth Keogh lights our Shabbat candles, I want to remind you that our COVID protocols have changed. We ask that you wear your mask the entire time. That means nose and mouth, just so a reminder for everybody. And you'll notice that the tape is back up and we are social distancing by household. Page 3.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Please join me with Kiddush on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'avov ratzon hinchilanu. זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה מקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי באנו ובחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. In Jewish tradition, the Sabbath is traditionally welcomed as a bride. The mystics see Shabbat as a renewal of the loving vows between God and the Jewish people. Sephardic and Hasidic Jews even recite Song of Songs each week on Shabbat evening. Song of Songs is the text that is used for wedding rituals, and it can be read as a love poem between two people in love or between God and the Jewish people. So before we sing Lecha Dodi, I'm going to share a melody for Dodi Li, written by Steve Brodsky. The text, which I've sung at many a wedding, means, "My beloved is mine, and I am his, who grazes among the lilies." Shoshanim, Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh, Dodi li. Arise, my love, my beautiful one, rise up and come away. For the winter is past and the rain is gone, our new life begins today. Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim, Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh, Dodi li. You have ravished my heart, my sister, my bride, with voice so sweet and face so fine. I will be yours and you will be mine until the end of time. Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim, Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh, Dodi li. Set me as a seal upon your heart. Love so strong, even death can part. Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim, Dodi li v'ani lo haroeh, Dodi li.
We turn now to page 20, welcoming that Sabbath bride as we sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we reach that 9th verse, Boiva Shalom, we rise facing the entrance to our sanctuary, beckoning that Sabbath spirit towards us. Join with us.
Lecha Dodi li krakalai, yalalai, 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 bnei Shabbat ekabela. Lecha Dodi li krakalai, yalalai, 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 bnei Shabbat ekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur krakala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekavela lecha dodi likrakala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekavela likrat Shabbat lechu v'melcha ki mekor haberacha merash mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh v'machshavat tchila lecha dodi likrakala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekavela lecha dodi likrakala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekavela hitoreri hitoreri ki va'orech kumiori uri uri shir daveri kevod Adonai alayich nigla lecha dodi likrakala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekavela lecha dodi likrakala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekavela vo'i v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam b'simcha u'b'tzola toch emunei am segula bo'י chala lecha dodi likrakala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekavela lecha dodi likrakala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekavela.
Turn to those around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let them know you're glad they're here. We turn to page 26 for Chatzi Kaddish, and we remain standing through Shema.
יתקרב יתקדש שמי רבה, אמן. ועמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם עולמי עמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma potech sha'arim, uvitvuna meshaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakira kirtsono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We read together on page 32. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
I know we usually remain standing, but I'm going to invite you to sit for just one moment. The prayer that we just read, Ahavat Olam, is part of our daily liturgy. Ahavat Olam, we say in the evening, and in the mornings we say Ahava Rabbah. They both are a declaration of God's love for the people Israel and the people's devotion to God. God's love is represented by choosing to give us, the Jewish people, Torah, and we in return, in accepting Torah, choose to live according to God's mitzvot. Ahavat Olam reminds us of the loving relationship between God, Israel, and Torah. I recently heard this new melody for Ahavat Olam, new to me, I think, by Rabbi Noah Diamondstein, and I loved the flowing melody, so I hope you will also enjoy it. The Hebrew text is on page 32. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chokim u'mishpatim, otanu limadta. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chokim u'mishpatim, otanu limadta. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, u'v'hem negeh yomam v'layla. Ve'avatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, u'v'hem negeh yomam v'layla. Ve'avatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. And now I invite you to rise for Shema on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Please join me on page 36 with Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzalecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha b'derech uv'shachpecha uv'kumecha ukashartam leot hayadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'yisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim l'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeit yadchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem emet.
We read together on page 41. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Top of page 43, we read together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, vel kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Let
rise for the Amidah on page 46.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chaim B'chesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Samech Noflim V'rofei Cholim, U'matir Asurim, U'mekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, U'mido Melech, Melech Memit U'mechayeh, U'motzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. We continue together at the top of page 55. At the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 58. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha Lecha Na'eh Lehodot. On page 60, we join together in our prayer for peace. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people, forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, ba'shalom. At this time in our service, we think of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing of mind, of body, and of spirit, those whom we hold in our heart, and those whose names are listed in the order of service. We think of them and whisper their names aloud now. We join together in the words of Misha Berach that can be found on page 253.
Take a moment for our own silent meditation. Osa shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, yaseh shalom aleinu, osa shalom. Ve'al kol for peace on earth, and we say amen. We raise our voice as one, and we say amen.
It is my honor now to call forward Dorothy Martin, our guest Darshanit, to give us some words of Torah this evening.
Shabbat Shalom. Blaming others when one is in trouble or when things go wrong is not unique to children, but is a behavior practiced by people of all ages and from all backgrounds. It can stem from disobedience, fear, anger, and the desire to manipulate others. Falsely accusing or blaming others can be viewed as a frustrating attempt to preserve reputation, sway outcomes, evade punishment, and/or avoid taking responsibility. In this week's Torah portion, Parashat Va'et-Hanan, Moses pleads unsuccessfully with God to be allowed to enter the Promised Land. Imagine the fear, the frustration, the disappointment at being told, "You shall not go across yonder Jordan." Moses was not readily acquiescent. He had no intent, in the words of Welsh poet Dylan Thomas, of going gentle into that good night. In response to God's decree, intense pleading and questioning ensued. 8th century Tiberian poet Pinchas HaKohen gives an evocative account of Moses' pleading in his Rahit poem, The Sins of Moses. Each of the poem's 11 stanzas is divided into two parts. Part 1, where Moses proposes reasons and excuses for his sins and alternatives to death, and Part 2, in which God refutes Moses' pleas. Professor of medieval Hebrew literature, Raymond Scheindlin, gives the following analysis of that poem. Stanza by stanza, Moses raises 6 possible reasons for the decree, and for each he has an excuse or an explanation. Moses has just heard God's command to go up on the mountain on that very day and die, Deuteronomy 32:48, and he protests, "I will not die. Why should I die? Oh God, just tell me, what complaint do you have with me?" Professor Scheindlin explains that Moses' list of proposed reasons might be viewed by readers as an act of conscientious reflection. Moses views his death not as the fate of all mankind, but as uniquely his fate. He racks his brain seeking a cause in his own behavior and an excuse in his intentions. With the 6th and last suggestion, his behavior at the rock, Moses comes very close to the truth as the Torah tells it. God sentenced him to die and not enter the land of Canaan as punishment for his behavior when he was ordered to satisfy the Israelites' thirst by bidding a boulder bring forth water. Numbers 20, verses 2 through 13. To this item, God replies, "I have sworn and it is inscribed. For this it has been decreed. Here is this. Know that it is for this. For this Moses died." Finally, the justification, or at least the occasion for God's decree, says Scheindlin, has been identified. The dialogue between God and Moses doesn't end here. However, Moses soon realizes that his fate is sealed. Having had this encounter with God and surveyed the Promised Land from the top of Pisgah, Moses returned to the Israelites and told them how God refused his plea. In Deuteronomy 3:26, Moses' words to the Israelites are poignantly stated. Now the Lord was angry with me on your account because of you, and swore that I should not cross the Jordan and enter the good land that the Lord your God is assigning to you as a heritage. In obedience to God, he proceeded to reiterate all the laws and commandments that the Israelites were to observe. He reminded them of the sins which they were to avoid, including idolatry, and he gave them the core commandment of the Jewish faith, the one which affirms the oneness of God, the Shema. Moses placed the blame for God's ruling on the Israelites. I think he did so because he felt disconnected from God and from the Israelites. Moses saw himself as a victim, and in the moment of blame was in a state of denial about his responsibilities. We can reason that such behavior could be either a cause for or the result of feelings of separateness. How can unity be restored? Hear, O Israel, Adonai is God, Adonai is one. Nahmanides, whose views I share, also sees in the words of the Shema a very personal statement by Moses. He believes the pronoun our in this case has significant meaning related to how Moses feels his relationship with God and the community could be perceived. Nahmanides feels that Moses does not want to exclude himself. He states that in declaring God's unity with the words of the Shema, Moses makes it clear that he is including himself as a witness to God's goodness and power. I believe that the very act of imparting God's laws, of reminding the Israelites of God's commandments, and especially of reciting the Shema, presented Moses with the opportunity to search his heart, to reflect, and to consider his own behavior, his sins, his words, and his attitude. By doing so, he reaffirmed the oneness which restores unity with God and community. The Shema, Reformed Rabbi Jacob J. Weinstein says, is for the common parenthood of God, the unity of humanity, and because of it, all God's children must be one. Failed policies, poor grades, crime and violence, broken relationships, financial troubles. These are some of the things for which people make excuses, shirk responsibility, and blame others. Blame parents, blame the police, blame the government, blame teachers, blame their fellow men. This leads to division and separation. During this era of COVID and racial and social reckoning, there has been and continues to be plenty of blame to go around. As a person of color, it is incumbent upon me to remain cognizant of past as well as current societal ills while maintaining hope and aspiring to continually improve. By accepting responsibility and striving to avoid blaming others, I can repair the relationships in my life and help to repair those around me, and I can accomplish so much more in life. As Jews, may we continue to stand with those who face undue blame and injustice, to perform acts of tikkun olam, and to study and recite God's word, whereby we may, as stated in the commentary to Parashat Ve'et Hanan, set our energies towards resolving conflicts and transforming them into achdut, unity and harmony. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will.
Thank you, Dorothy Yashikoch, and thank you for sharing such wonderful insights with us and reminding us that we need to all be good citizens and work towards building unity and a healthier community. So I'm going to share one more selection for this wonderful Jewish Day of Love. So Song of Songs, which I mentioned earlier, is one of the Megillot, one of the scrolls, which is read on the Shabbat during Passover. It is also, as I said, the text that we use for the wedding rituals. And it's that love poem between either two people or God and the people Israel. This next song that I wanted to share with you is actually a song that was written by my friend and colleague, Cantor Jordan Franzel, for me to sing at my wedding to Alan. I always get nervous singing it, so. So it's called Come My Love, and the text is from Song of Songs, and the Hebrew means what the English says. Come, my love, out to the open field, rising up with the morning dew, searching for vines in bloom, beckoning you to me. I will there give my love to you. Lecha dodi netzei hasadeh nalina bakefarim nashkim kramim niraim parcha gafen pitach hasmadar Heinei tzurim onim. Come, my love, out to the open field, rising up with the morning dew, searching for vines in bloom, beckoning you to me. I will there give my love to you. I will there give my love to you.
We continue with Aleinu on page 283. Please rise.
Aleinu shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedila liotzer bereshit, shehu sam chelkeinu liachid et shemo, vekor aleinu lamlich malchuto, v'anachnu koreim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malachei amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech ha'kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. As we turn to page 288 for our memorial meditation, we note the death of Susan Setters Jacobson, sister of Barbara Setters Fox, mother of Andy Jacobson, Julie Jacobson and Dwayne Paulson, Carrie Jacobson and Rick Schachter, grandchildren Ian, Allie, Jake, Nick and Nicole, Maggie, and great-grandchildren Amelia and Riley. The memorial service will be on Zoom on Sunday, July 25th at 2 p.m. The Zoom link can be found in your email. Page 288, a meditation by Merritt Malloy. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community who have died at this time in years past. As we mark their yard sites, we remember them. Israel Barenblatt, Rachel Barenblatt, Margaret Barnes, Meyer Barnett, Esther Beichman, Marion Benedict, Stanley Berman, Clara Breslau, Valerie Brown, Henry Cohen, Pearl Lee Coyne, Richard Dulcimer, Farnese Falkstein, Evelyn Danziger Feldman, Lawrence Finkel, Jack Flashberg, Evelyn Franks, Seidel Gottlieb, Anne Grome, Horace C. Hall III, Herbert Halstead, Rosalind Hertzberg, Rabbi Morris M. Hirschman, Leon Jacobson, Brian David Kasser, Carlene Hammer Kaufman, Richard Kirschberg, Harry Kirstner, Tibby Callison Kotz, Lester Landy, Milton Lebo, Joshua Evan Levine, Jean Lipset, Rita Luft, Babette Marcus, Meyer Margolis, Louis Matisoff, Lillian Mongite, Stephen Palins, Ethel Penner, Ann Polonsky, Sylvan Polonsky, Donald Pomerantz, Foley Rappaport, Louis Ratner, Jacob Ricklin, Shirley Rotblut, Mildred Charlack Sachs, William Saxon Jr., Robert George Schiffmacher, Dr. Irving Schoenfeld, L. Taylor Seiden, Dr. Alan G. Silver, John Patrick Smith, Melvin Tectiel, Nathan Ubogi, Charles Way, Ralph L. Williams, and Andrea Tackman Wu. To these names, we add those who've died this past month, whose families are in a mourning period of Shloshim. We remember Howard Schechterman, Helene Katz Ricklin, and Louise K. Baumholtz. We also think of two who've died this past week, whose families are in a mourning period of Shiva. We remember Elaine Gale, mother of Scott Gale, grandmother of Dana and Mark Williams, and Shelley and Chip Riley, great-grandmother of Colton, Ryan, Charlie, and Shipley. We also remember Alec Fisher, father of Peter and Tony Fisher, David Fisher, and Diane and David Fisher, grandfather of Lauren, Daniela, Adam, Simone, Seth, Bradley, and Lily, great-grandfather of 12 precious great-grandchildren, and brother of Nita Shudter. We add to these all of those who are in our hearts each and every day as we join together for Kaddish Yatom on page 294. Please rise. Yitz Gadal v'yitz Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalau v'izman karib, Imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Ulmei Halmaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Dekudesha B'richu, Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav, Ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. It is my honor to call forward Dr. Amy Benedict on behalf of our Board of Trustees to deliver tonight's announcements.
Good evening. I'm so pleased all of you can be here virtually and in person for our services this evening. I want to thank three of our special leaders this evening. I want to thank Mina Lopez for being a greeter and Beth Keogh for leading us in our candle blessings. And I want to thank Dorothy Martin for her words of wisdom and eloquent presentation. Just to remind you of some events we have for Under the Dome, some updates. The 20s and 30s are going to Tycoon Flats for dinner. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we have Torah study, and at 10:30, services to follow. Then tomorrow evening, early evening, at 4 p.m., we have a young family Havdalah. You can also donate school supplies on Sunday, either at the JCC or here at Temple, and the ones that are needed are listed in the email. You can still support Sisterhood and sign up for Honey to deliver honey. They will deliver it for you. They will send it to your loved ones. It's a wonderful way to wish everyone a sweet new year. I want to give you a little bit of a COVID update. We have been having meetings with our COVID task force, and on it are two infectious disease specialists, one that works on a national task force and one on a local task force. And right now, because of the increase in the Delta infections with the Delta variant, even in people who are vaccinated, there's a 3% chance that you can still become infected. We are now requiring masks to be worn inside the synagogue, and we're now social distancing 3 feet. Those were their recommendations. And we're working on planning with them, on planning how we are doing in-person high holiday services, so stay tuned for updates on all that. And please feel free at any time to contact me if you have any questions about that. Oh, yes, please. You all should have received, thank you, an email. We're trying to figure out how many people will actually be coming in person so we can better accommodate everyone. So if you can fill out that survey and let us know if you plan on coming. It's not a guarantee, but if you think you might be coming, that'll give us an idea of how many people might be coming. I'm thrilled that we have such a great turnout this evening in person. And this may mean that a lot of people actually are planning on coming to services. And if that's the case, we would love to know ahead of time so we can plan accordingly. Thank you, Rabbi. Remember, while we are living through a pandemic, to take time to care for yourself and to nurture others. And in memory of my mother-in-law, Marion Benedict, whose yahrzeit was this evening, I want to honor her memory. By thanking her for coming and moving here and living with us to nurture her grandchildren. Shabbat Shalom. Have a wonderful week.
Our closing song this evening is Olam Chesed Yibaneh, and the words to this song are on the order of service, which is online. So if you have your phone with you, if you haven't already pulled up that order of service using the QR code outside, you can find the words on our website underneath the live stream. There's a button that says order of service. Or just hum along with us and you'll catch on with the words.
Olam
May you enjoy the love found around you. Shabbat Shalom and happy Tu B'Av.